Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. The center can no longer hold. Things are falling apart in Kenya Kwanza. About 1 day ago, Raila Odinga made it very clear that as Azimio, they will not sign any bipartisan agreement with Kenya Kwanza if the cost of living is not addressed. And that warning by Raila Odinga seems to have scared William Ruto. This morning, William Ruto hurriedly convened a parliamentary group meeting, Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting at State House, Nairobi. Listen to this before we continue.
And President William Ruto has indicated that there is nothing much that his government can do to stop the increase in fuel prices. In a parliamentary group meeting held at State House, Nairobi, Tuesday morning, the president is reported to have reiterated that high fuel prices are as a result of global factors. Now, this comes just a day after Energy Cabinet Secretary David Chirchir said that a litre of petrol may rise to 300 shillings due to the ongoing Israeli-Hamas conflict in the Gaza Strip. And as Ibrahim Karanjans puts it, Kenya Kwanza MPs are reported to have openly voiced their concerns to the president that if fuel prices keep rising, then they are fast losing popularity.
Just a day after Energy CS David Chirchir indicated that fuel prices may still go up, with a litre of super petrol even costing 300 shillings, lawmakers within the Kenya Kwanza alliance are now a worried lot, even airing their concern to President William Ruto during their parliamentary group meeting held at State House Tuesday morning. According to the members of parliament who spoke to NTV off camera, there is a growing concern that if the cost of fuel and indeed the cost of living keeps going up, then their alliance is increasingly losing popularity and seen as having abandoned the hustler agenda on whose shoulder they rode on to power. But President William Ruto once again stating that there is nothing much that his government can do and that the skyrocketing fuel prices are as a result of global factors. The president citing the already existing fuel stabilization fund as a short-term remedy, completely dismissing any possibility of the return of subsidies as had been suggested by a section of lawmakers. On concerns about losing popularity, the MPs state that the president's response was that they do not have to be popular all the time as long as they are popular when and where it matters. The country's plan to deploy 1,000 national police officers to the war-torn Caribbean nation Haiti also featured prominently at the PG, with President Ruto whipping them to support the agenda, stating that Kenya's leadership was chosen due to the country's strong democracy. This was after concerns that a section of Kenya Kwanza MPs are skeptical about the mission to Haiti. The PG happened only hours before the National Assembly reconvened from recess, with the president laying out some of the legislation that will be headed to Parliament in coming days. They agreed to another meeting next week to particularly discuss on matters fuel prices. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV.
Yes. If that's exactly what happened, then some things are coming out very clearly, which I want to stress on for Kenyans to understand them better. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. Let's proceed. The first thing coming out very clearly, Kenya Kwanza members of parliament and the elected leaders are now waking up to this reality that their association with William Ruto is making them unpopular on the ground. They are now waking up to that reality. For those who have been following me here, not once or twice or thrice, I've been saying that as time goes by, Any leader supporting this government will find the ground very, very hostile. It's good the leaders themselves are now waking up to that reality. The only place where they are now missing it, they have been very unpopular for a very long time. It's only that maybe some of them were still living in denial. So it's true, their association with William Ruto is making them very, very unpopular. Secondly, you heard William Ruto telling them that whether they are unpopular, that does not matter. It only matters at the right time. What does William Ruto mean, ladies and gentlemen? William Ruto is looking at 2027, so he's deliberately punishing Kenyans. He's deliberately blind and deaf to what Kenyans are saying now because he knows there is no election being done now. William Ruto is most definitely waiting for 2027 so that he can bring now the subsidies. He can now lower the prices. He can now remove some taxes. Kenyans should actually listen to this very, very carefully. Ruto is deliberately punishing Kenyans. Come 2027, I'm seeing a president who will actually now start playing on Kenya's psychology by now reducing the prices on some of these commodities. Kenyans should reject that, and they should know that in advance, Ruto is intentionally and deliberately punishing them. And then listening to those members of parliament, they are hypocrites. Kenyans should not take them seriously because they brought Kenyans to where we are today with the Finance Bill 2023. The high cost of living Kenyans are now witnessing today has been partly and majorly contributed to has been contributed to the Finance Bill 2023. If you look at, for example, the petroleum prices, assuming the pump price is 200 Kenya shillings, half of that amount goes to tax. Taxes are actually taking about half of that price. These members of parliament, these Kenya Kwanza Mps, are the ones who passed that bill in parliament. So they contributed to what we are going through as a country today. Kenyans should not have mercy on them. They are hypocrites. And just as I did state in our earlier video, I know Kenyans are fed up, totally tired of a William Ruto's regime. Now, how can Kenyans make William Ruto a one-term president? The first sure way is by Kenyans rejecting any elected leader supporting this government. Whether that leader has delivered or not, Kenyans should actually make that sacrifice by actually rejecting those leaders as long as that leader is supporting a William Ruto's regime. They should be sent home. There are so many good leaders who Kenyans can elect, but these ones supporting a government clearly oppressing Kenyans, a government intentionally punishing Kenyans as it waits for the next election to hoodwink Kenyans. Kenyans should reject any leader supporting that government. And from that news as reported by NTV, it's also coming out very clearly that the center can no longer hold. Already there are murmurs in the government. And sooner or later, as Kenyans continue piling pressure on the government, some of these leaders will start abandoning William Ruto. So Kenyans should push it harder. Let William Ruto and these leaders supporting him, let them feel that pain Kenyans are going through. as I conclude, Ruto is sending troops to Haiti while there is a lot of insecurity in the country. In Lamu, in the North Rift, across the country, a lot of insecurity. Ruto seems to be blind and deaf. He rather pleases the West than Kenyans. Kenyans should actually also know that Ruto is not there to fight for their interests. Ruto is there for his own personal gains. And just as the controller of budget, Margaret Nyakango, a few days ago insinuated that the salaries of top government officials, according to the budget estimates, are always being inflated, sometimes even being tripled. But what they get is third of what is in the budget estimates. All that excess goes to men and women's pockets. So you are seeing that corruption is growing and very rampant in this government. Auditor General says that Kenya loses about a third of its annual budget to corruption. In Ruto's government, Kenya is most definitely going to lose even 75% of its annual budget to corruption. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. To our fans and subscribers who may want to support our forum, contact me through my number. I've pinned it on the comment section. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you. God bless you.